Boing. Hi. Aloha. It's Loren Adams. Today, I'm introducing a new project I've been working on for the last 3 days. This is my dream treehouse. When I read mythology, I see dreams and visions, and I dreamed about the ultimate treehouse. And so, it's just starting. I hope you'll join me. Remember, day 4 is next. Aloha. This is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 4 of my magical treehouse. While quickly reviewing the first 3 days, you can tell how excited I am. I've been spending a minimum of 10 to 12 hours a day now for the last 4 days. And in my dream, I was walking on a pathway in the forest, and I came upon a fantastic tree house. It was the tree house of my dream. And remember, day 5 is next. Aloha. This is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 6 of my mystical treehouse. So far, that's just a working title. I don't actually know what to call it yet. It just was calling me from a dream, wandering in a coastal walk by the sea. And there's all kinds of things in a forest or a jungle. Lots of unknown, many things you don't know. Right around the next turn, what could be there? It takes a lot of trust in yourself to go on such a walk in the coastal woods. But it's our job to press on, no matter what the cost. And as you know my opinion, this is heaven. So wandering in heaven, in the coastal woods, and discovering how wonderful it is in heaven, here and now. And that no matter how much you think you're alone, you're never actually alone. Ha ha ha. Walk through a storm, keep your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a glorious sight, and the sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Day 7 is next. Aloha, this is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 7 of my mystical treehouse. It's so much fun. Come and get lost with me in my little world. And today, I'm going to talk to you as though I'm just a sweet old man, because I am. I'm almost 80 years old. And for most of you, I am your elder. I am a grandfather. I've been around the block, and I know about love. I know that the price of love is allowing somebody to love you. I know that whatever you focus on with all of your mind and attention blossoms, just like a flower does. And I know that if you hold love in the palm of your hand like a butterfly, if you don't scare it away and allow it to come and go as it pleases, that's one of the secrets. But there are many other secrets on the pathway of life. And I can tell you, after having been happily married for 42 years to my darling eternal companion, that love just gets better with age. Love gets more open to change and embracing what life brings to all of us. And you know, even though I'm a happily married, sweet old man, I'm happy to share what I can offer with others. I'm not really here to sell paintings. I'm here to encourage other people who are born with an innate talent and gift to really, blossom. Me seeing other people blossom reminds me of my 58-year journey to become the kind of painter I am now. You should see some of my early works. I'll post them sometimes. Anyway, dear friends, that's the reason for this post. That's the reason I'm here, to share the light that I have seen with the most distant human, distant man, distant woman, distant animal who is fully awake. Anyway, now I'm meandering. But the real thing is that when love comes into your life, you got to drop everything else you're doing. Love is a stranger you meet one day. Strange is the danger love brings your way. But when you linger, it runs away, while your heart whispers to stay. Stronger than thunder in summer rain. Love is the wonder we cannot explain. But when you're under the spell you gain, the joy you've waited for. It may come from out of nowhere, and it whispers, follow me. Be it near, be it far, you must go there. That's the way love was fated to be. For love is a stranger until you see. Love is the changer of destiny. Welcome, it's coming, and love will be a stranger to you no more. I love you a lot. Thanks for your kind attention. And remember, you don't let the dark forces steal your peace. And day 8 is next. Aloha! This is Loren Adams, and welcome back to day 8 of my mystical treehouse. And while my viewers are enjoying this walk in the coastal woods, only to discover a magnificent, mysterious treehouse on a cliff, we're going to talk about, what do you believe? Somebody said, well, what do you believe? And I said, I believe in everything. Yes, even that, and especially that. I believe in everything. Say, well, what do you mean I believe in everything? Well, what I mean by that is that obviously everything exists. It's all determining on whether or not it's something that is wonderful or ugly. I personally believe that this is heaven. And I believe everything substantiates heaven. I find no evidence that this is not heaven, contrary to popular opinion. Think about that. Throughout my life, I've been involved in singing. I've been in choirs, ensembles. I've been choir director at church and voice coach. I've taught singing. I used to be quite good when I was younger. Now that I'm 80, I add a little more personality to the notes instead of making sure they're accurate. I don't really care. I think feeling's more important than everything else. And I'm not pretending to be a great singer. I just enjoy singing. I always have. Here I am trying to remember I Believe by Frankie Lane.
Flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe. Will still be heard. I believe that someone in that great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see and feel the sky, then I know why I believe.
And I do. Remember, day 9 is next. Aloha. This is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 9 of my mystical treehouse. It is a 24 by 14 inch original oil painting on oil prepared birch plywood. And it so far has been 10 days in the making, and I have video posted, the entire art in action in sections. So if you want to see everything that happened up to this point, you can see some of the other videos. For me, this started as a dream, where I'm wandering through the coastal forest and I come upon a mysterious treehouse that intrigues me. Wow. Today, we're going to talk about what is the illusion of significance. Is the perceived value as good as the real value? Is the perceived value truly valuable? The most important issue here is, although all knowledge and wisdom are ours for the asking, we need to be ready to ask some questions that are best answered by us elders, because experience doesn't come to just anyone because they want to know. The answers to some questions are the rewarding to the elders. May not be an easy fix for young people, and it's a pineal gland issue because it usually opens when we're about ready to transcend. I'm almost 80. So then, how big is big enough? How old is old enough? We know that there will always be those who are not as far along the journey and those who are further along than we are. I personally think that that's why we can aspire and inspire each other to grow in all the ways that bring us each the fulfillment of our destiny as the sons and daughters of creation. The omnipotence and the omniscience is a power that combines to guide us through the whole journey. It never was a contest. The greatest thing about heaven here and now is, even though we are all the creator, there's still someone bigger than we are. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. But right now, here is a song by Elvis Presley, Somebody Bigger Than You and I.
Who made the mountains? Who made the trees? Who made the rivers flow to the sea? And who sends the rain when the earth is dry? Somebody bigger than you and I. Who made the flowers bloom in the spring? And who made the song for the robin to sing? And who hung the moon and the stars in the sky? Somebody bigger than you and I. He lights the way when the road is long, and he keeps you company. And with his love to guide you, he walks beside you just like he walks with me. When I am weary, filled with despair, who gives me courage to go on from there? And who gives me faith that will never die? Somebody bigger than you and I.
And now I'd like to thank you for your time. Don't let the evil forces steal your rainbow. And remember, day 10 is next. Aloha, this is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 10 of my mystical Treehouse. Today, I'm going to do my best to try and describe the creative process and how it works. Artists are not exactly like other people. They're highly empathetic, and whatever they do, they're like sponges. They absorb whatever's going on. They notice too many things. That's the reason why we're such a strange lot. Anyway, when there's any kind of a problem, we can turn it into an artwork because we go inside and we work with that as a meditation. And at the end, we have a beautiful work of art for our troubles. Some issues can be resolved in hours, some days. Some issues can take up to a month or several months to complete. And they're all relative to how much our little pea-picking brains is working on that issue, that problem, trying to solve that riddle. And so we stay in meditation, in trance, with the paintbrush in our hand. And then when we finally have the resolve, an incredible calmness comes over us. And we come out of the tunnel, and we're changed. Some scientists even believe that artists totally rebuild themselves, psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, every time they finish a major work. I can tell you that in my case, that's probably true, because I feel like I've lived at least 100 lifetimes during this short lifetime, 80-some years. And how I've dealt with loneliness is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're lonely and you're creative, it's exactly what is supposed to happen to you. And you transcend and you morph into something wonderful on canvas. Each and every one of us from time to time feels lonely and blue. And here's what Patsy Cline has to say about that. Ta-da! Have you ever been lonely? Have you ever been blue? Have you ever loved someone just as I love you? Can't you see I'm sorry for each mistake I've made? Can't you see I've changed, dear? Can't you see I've changed? And baby, a little forgiving. Take me back in your arms. How can I go on living now that we're apart? If you knew what I've been through, you would know that I love you. Have you ever been lonely? Have you ever been blue? And then there's this song by Billie Holiday. Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Many a hearts have been broken, all because these words were idly spoken. I love you too, I truly do, I love you. But if you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure that it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. And I'd like to say thank you for your kind attention and interest. And day 11 is next. Aloha, this is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 11 of my mystical treehouse. And today I want to talk to you about the difference between God the Father, who lives like a white-haired man out there in the sky, or a God that is close at hand. Nearer is he than breathing, closer than hands and feet. So nowadays we hear that this is a simulation, and personally The dialogue has changed, but the meaning has not changed. I'm acquainted with the Sumerian text and the Ethiopian texts, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and particularly the Book of Thomas. And the whole point is that this Lord lives inside of our heart minds. And there, in developing that relationship, is why we are here. And so that relationship is this. How do you answer this question? Where is God? Who is God? And who do I talk to when I need help? Do I go inside and humbly ask with a contrite spirit and a broken heart? Or do I rise in high self-esteem, step before the heavenly throne and say, I declare my presence in your life. Handle it. Because the kingdom of heaven is here and now, and the Lord God Almighty is in your own heart mind. Being raised in the church and knowing the dialogue of the gospel and praying to God the Father and asking the Lord or talking to the Lord, what's different about that if this is a simulation? I don't really think that changes anything. The second coming is inside of me, so I talk to that Lord, my Lord. And here's some words and music by Johnny Lang and Jimmy Duncan, made famous by Mahalia Jackson.
I asked the Lord to comfort me when things weren't going my way. He said to me, I will comfort you and lift your cares away. And I asked the Lord to walk with me when darkness was all that I knew. He said to me, never be afraid, for I will see you through. I did not ask for riches, he gave me wealth untold. The moon, the stars, the sun, the sky, and he gave me eyes to behold. Now I thank the Lord for everything and count my blessings each day. He came to me when I needed him. I only had to pray, and he'll come to you if you ask him to. He's only a prayer away.
And once again, I would like to thank you for your kind attention, and please remember that day 12 is next. Aloha, this is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 12, 13, and 14 of my mystical treehouse. So what I've done here is I'm creating a myriad silhouette by taking advantage of the atmospheric tonality and the chroma So I can have near white and in the very foreground near black, and say 24 to 26 values in between. And since I'm a gradient painter, all of those gradients would increase the ability to create the illusion of light, is what I'm trying to say. And it's been something I've experimented with most of my life. I've been painting now for 60 years, professionally for 58 years, if there is such a thing as a professional artist. I'm not sure that I don't think of myself as an artist. I think of myself as a fine arts painter. And I guess it's because when I say subject matter, I'm talking about what the public usually sees and is used to. And that is, other than in the museums and the time-honored collections, the commercial galleries are filled with whatever can be factory-produced in China. There's over 22,000 factories that produce oil paintings for famous artists in the United States. And that's because the sales manager at the big city galleries, where the real estate and the entertainment sections of town are very expensive. The sales manager needs to make sure that all of the walls are producing sales. That's why they even choose artists to be included that paint things that could be easily produced by factories in China. That's the reason why they do it. It's about units. The more units the wall space can sell every day, the more the hype and promotion says that another great, brilliant, genius artist has been found. And the public is not aware that what they're doing is falling in love with something that was probably designed by an artist, but it was mass-produced. This is art brut. This is non-objective, abstract expressionism, or temper tantrums made with art materials. This is, unfortunately, what the public since 1941 has been educated to believe art is all about. And it's true, it is art. But the kind of art I design and make is the kind that you would enjoy having over your dining room table while you're eating dinner. So mine falls in the category of decorative arts, and I'm proud to say I am a decorative arts, fine art painter, not an artist. I don't want to be compared to things that I would not do with my time. And I'm not downing that. I know it makes the world go round. And that form of expression, even for artists that are involved, is something wonderful for their lives. And I think that's great too. I'm ushering in the re-enchantment of the world. I think that all art, including art brut, abstract, non-objective. Again, I'd like to thank you for your kind attention, and visual day 15 is next. Aloha, this is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 15 of my mystical treehouse. So far, fantastic. the whole idea with a myriad silhouette, particularly one where it's a misty or foggy coastline, is that you could take advantage of the atmospheric tonality just with gradients. In other words, a simple way to explain a gradient, the general idea of a strawberry is that it's red, but in reality, when you sit down and mix the colors, it's 50 different shades of red and green. And nobody thinks about that until it's actually time to do it. But gradients are in everything. Everything you look at, gradients going around cylindrical objects, even branches. There's a dark side, a light side, and it's a gradual gradient. It's shading. I'm quite used to it. I like taking advantage of it because you can create depth of field that even a camera cannot do. A camera can choose one focal point, maybe 2 or 3 at best if you use a 3D camera, but then when you make the print, you're only going to get as much as the resolve from all 3 focal points can be. If you control all of the depth of field, just pretending that each layer as you go further away is lighter and everything coming forward is darker and darker and darker. Imagine 24 panes of glass, and the farthest one away is the light and everything that's far away. The front panes are almost black, and they gradually got larger. The leaves in the far distance, there's like in the tops of the giant tree in the background, there's 100 leaves or more per square inch. And each one, I went in and made sure they looked like leaves, not spots. Then gradually, all of these overlays, as they're coming into the foreground, are silhouetting over what is already in the background. And what this gradually does is it illustrates the air in between the objects. Atmospheric tonality. It's somewhat difficult, but not if you're persistent. And I've been doing this now for 58 years, practicing it at least. They get more successful each time, but I enjoy pushing the envelope and juxtaposition of things in front of each other, gradually getting darker or lighter. And the color chroma changes at the same time. In other words, think of the color wheel: yellow, orange, red, violet, blue, green, indigo, back to yellow, but all at different octaves. The South Pole would be black, the North Pole would be white. And all of the colors mature at a different value, but they can still be divided into about 24, 25. You can actually get more shades of yellow mixed with white than you can with, say, phthalo blue. The discernment is not as obvious with darker colors. So even though yellow has the strongest vibration and can be divided into the most, violet on the opposite side, its complement, has the least tinting strength of all of the colors on the wheel because it has the shortest wavelength. So specifically
designing areas where you're going to feature purple is called color surprise. Likewise with all of the other adjacent colors in chroma. I know I'm talking over people's heads in many ways, but I also know that everybody wanted to know this stuff and the questions I keep getting. And thanks again for your kind attention. Please remember that day 16 is next. Aloha! This is Loren Adams. Welcome back to day 16 of my Mystic Treehouse. Well, here I am, painting more leaves. I've spent the last 10, 12 hours painting a few thousand leaves, all different sizes. And as we come into the foreground, they get just a little bit larger and darker. I know some of them don't really look like leaves yet, and I was just thinking, they kind of look like they're little flying things, but they'll be filled in, probably put even light on them to show their shape, like you're walking under them, and instead of looking straight at them, yada yada. Anyway, as you can tell, the more I increase the contrast in the foreground, it accentuates the light in the mid-ranges before you get to the treehouse. Even there's several value changes, and everything the treehouse and beyond is less than a value 4. And of course a lot of the branches in the tree, the giant tree, are overshadowing and coming into the foreground, so playing with that differential is a lot of fun. As I said before, I love gradients and gradient painting, and at first in the foreground everything has to be a silhouette, so it's in this case not quite black. I put it at Payne's gray with a little bit of aubergine, because as light decays it turns red, and so when you illustrate that with oil pigments to exaggerate the qualities of light, when it decays it's red. So if you want to make something almost black and it's in a really nice light, aubergine is your color, because it looks like black, but it's not. It's just darker than everything it's silhouetted in front of. But it will get almost black as we come all the way into the foreground, including the little blades of grass as needed. It's going to be so much fun decorating and ornamenting this painting with birds and flowers, vines, and in the treehouse. Wow. And the stables too. The horses are nearly blocked in right now, but they'll be clear as a bell, and everything that would be in focus at that distance, if I'm, kind of modeling my intentions of the myriad silhouette. And I explained that in the last video, how the myriad silhouette works. And I continually need to remind everybody that I'm not here to promote and sell art. I am here to encourage other talented people to rise and shine. The best way to do that is just to lead by example, share what I know. Others here doing exactly the same thing. Those of us who have developed our talents are more than happy to share how and why, and maybe even on a few occasions what to paint. In my case, I've spent my life fascinated with, quote, pretty pictures. Not picture postcard or romance novel pictures, but just pictures. The kind of pictures that are pleasant to look at, enjoyable to see,
not angst-producing, relaxing vibes, splendorous images that invite people to relax, gel out, and enjoy heaven. Because as I keep telling everybody, wonderful place, heaven, isn't it? How could it possibly be anything else? You want to maintain a positive attitude with high self-esteem. Check out Linktree/Loren Adams. Thank you very much for your time again, and remember, day 17 is next.